This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
God, it's been a long morning. I'm really tired. What is going on, guys? Jay Shai here with another video, and today's video is another video of Shin Megami Tensei cards that I designed. Just having fun with it. But anyway, before I start, I want to give you guys a quick update. I know it's been a while that I made a video, and I always told you guys that I told you guys in the last video that I was gonna periodically not consistently upload like every week like I usually do. It was going to take a lot longer because I started a couple of new projects and it was just going to take longer, and I was going to do things on the side that I can possibly do to upload and stuff like that. I also started a project that is completely outside of my comfort zone. And when I mean completely outside of my comfort zone, like not a lot of people know I do this particular thing. I would say like roughly it's about 5 people in my life that actually know that I do this sort of, I guess, side hobby thing that I do, and I would be uploading that in the near future. I don't know when, but like sometime, I would say in the next couple of weeks, I'll be uploading a video about this other project that I'm working on. So. And you guys know about all those other projects that I'm doing. I'm just crazy about doing things and keeping busy. So I'm into that kind of thing. Anyway, with that being said, as you guys can see, I'm also starting to grow a beard. Mostly because of my job. They're doing this thing for November where you support cancer by growing out your beard. I don't know how that's a thing, but it is apparently at my job. So I'm not shaving my face for the whole month, and we're almost at the end, so I can use it because my mustache is starting to go into my mouth. Anyway, that all being said, let us start with these Shin Megami Tensei fake cards that I made that are based off of Final Fantasy cards, and I just decided to just kind of make my own thing. So let's start with the first one, and the first one here, I'm going to double click this picture here, and the first one is Skins from SMT4. Skins is a 4-drop frontliner. He has 8,000 power, and as you guys can see, his tag is he's a survivor. But his skill is if you control a card named Fujiwara, Skin gains plus 1,000 power and smirk. That means he gets he turns into a 9K that doesn't have to debilitate to, or in magic terms, tap to attack. He has vigilance, so he can just attack without tapping. When Skins enters the field, you may play one card named Fujiwara from your hand onto the field directly. And he has what I like to call a special skill down here, and I call it Unsheath, where he takes out the sword basically. It costs one color of this gold thing and another color of whatever. This S that you see next to Unsheath represents that you need to drop another copy of Skins from your hand to the drop zone in order to use that ability. But it deals damage equal to half of Skins' power to all frontliners opponent control, and you round it up to the nearest 1,000. That means that if he's at 8K, you deal it to 4,000, but you round it up to the nearest 1,000, so that means you deal it 5K instead to all frontliners on that opponent's side of the field. But if he has Fujiwara there with him, you divide 9. Wait, can you do that? No, it's still 5, whatever, because it's his base power. So, there you go. Wait, 9, 6, yes. Okay. So, that's Skins. Next is Load, is Fujiwara. Fujiwara is also a frontliner, but he costs 2 and he only has 6K power. Now, his skill is, if you control a card named Skins, Fujiwara gains plus 3,000 power. So that means if he becomes a 7, 8, 9, 9K attacker without Brave, but he needs Skins on the field in order to give him that support power. But he also has a support skill, I call it Brains over Brawn. And he has the same S ability where you have to pitch another copy of Fujiwara from your hand to the drop zone, and you pay 2 of that color, I don't know what I'm going to call it, and you choose one frontliner, you deal it 9,000 damage. You can only use this ability if skin is available on the field. So you can't use this ability if he's flying solo, basically. So those two work together, basically. Who should I do next? Let's see. Let me see, 8, 10, let's do... Next is Hato. Hato is the first demon that I decided to design that is a frontliner and not like just a summon. She is a frontliner, and her job is Megami. So her skill is when Hathor enters the field, your opponent discards one card from his or her hand, and when Hathor leaves the field, your opponent draws one card. She's a 7k power. So basically, a lot of people would think that this is a bad or a good thing. So it really depends. So if you decide to just, I don't know, build a deck that has like a milling capability kind of thing, so your opponent discards a card from their hand, but they also draw a card. So if you build a deck that mills things, your opponent is basically, if you don't know what milling is, it's basically when your opponent has to take the top card off of their deck and put it directly in a drop zone. It never reaches their hand. And usually when you run out of cards in your deck, you lose the game. If you build a deck that's built around milling, this is actually beneficial because your opponent is just basically drawing cards, and it goes to their hand, and eventually they'll run out of cards to draw. So that's the thing with her. I forgot what Final Fantasy card I used to make it. I think it was Nuge, one of those guys from Final Fantasy, but that's what I designed, so that is Hathor. Next, I think a lot of people are going to like this one. Next is Io from from Shin Megami Tensei, the first one. She is the heroine, not the law or the chaos. She is the female protagonist kind of thing, but you don't get to play as her. She is a 3-drop supporter. That means she's a backup. That means she goes into the back row and she taps her mana. But her skill is amazing. When she enters the field, you choose 3 supporters that you control other than Io, and you charge them. Charging is basically when you if they're in a debilitated state, they charge back up. The reason why I made her is what she does is basically she costs 3. So you basically debilitate 3 supporters, and when you do that, when she hits the field, they basically charge back up so that you can use those 3 again to do something else. So she's really, really good. Her skill is Recon. A lot of you guys are going to know what Recon is because you guys play Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games. But anyway, her skill is basically if you pitch up another copy of her, you debilitate her, and you charge all frontliners you control. They cannot be chosen by demons or abilities that turn. So what that means is basically if you decide to attack with all your frontliners, when your opponent decides to kill one of your forwards with a summon or whatever, you basically pitch her off, use her skill, and she makes them all charge up. And they can't be chosen by abilities, so the skill that your opponent just used just fizzles. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, it's really good. Next is oh yeah, here we go. Pixie. Next is Pixie. Pixie is a 1-drop demon, and she's really good. She has a press turn ability, which means if you flip it for damage, the press turn ability goes off. If you decide to just pay for her, her ability goes off. And it is basic. It is draw 2 cards, discard 1 card from your hand. That's it. She just makes you search for things that you feel like you need in your hand. That's what she does. I should probably tell, you guys all know this isn't a real game. I'm just basically just making cards because I get bored at home when I don't feel like playing video games. Okay, next is the fan favorite that everybody was asking me for the last video, so I decided to do it. And it is Demi Fiend. Demi Fiend is a 6-drop 1 frontliner, and he has the job of the Chosen. I couldn't think of a different name to give him, so I just called him the Chosen. Sure. So his thing is kind of unique, and it is The cost required to play Demi Fiend onto the field is reduced by 1 for each category SMT 3 character. So that means if you have multiple SMT Nocturne characters on the field, he costs less. This is for frontliners only, so you can't have a SMT Nocturne backup and it counts to that. It doesn't. It's just frontliners. That's the balance. Anyway, for each frontliner you control, he counts as 1. Each time a frontliner you control attacks, it gains 1,000 power until the end of turn. So Demi Fiend basically pumps his frontliners to attack even harder. And I gave him the ability Deadly Fury. So that means that you pitch 1 copy of Demi Fiend from your hand, you pay 1 of the red thing and 1 of any other color that you may be playing. You tap Demi Fiend or debilitate Demi Fiend. You choose 1 forward, you deal it 8,000 damage. That means just for paying, I mean it's pricey, but he can kill things, so it's not that bad. For the price of 3, he can kill things. Or just 1 copy of him, and plus if you pay 2, yeah, he can kill something. And he's 9k power, so he's a tank. He's a beast. And the final card, which you guys are probably gonna also really like, is Demi Fiend again, but this is the light version of him, the Hama version of Demi Fiend. He costs 4, he's an 8k chosen, but he has 3 skills, and they're pretty cool. He has Smirk, automatic. It's an automatic Smirk. That means he doesn't have to debilitate to attack. He can automatically just attack and just block the next turn whenever he feels like it. He has the special move called Gaia Rage, which you pitch off a copy of him, you pay 1, he deals 4,000 damage to all frontliners that opponent controls. And his second skill, which is Frukugel. There we go, Frukugel. You pitch off 1 copy of Demi Fiend, and then you pay 3, you tap him, you choose 1 forward, you delete it. He basically just kills things if you pay the price for it. He is insane. he's really good. So this card, the reason why there's 2 different types of Demi Fiend, and the reason why the colors are different is in Final Fantasy there's light cards and there's other colors of cards. Light cards usually mean that they have very special skills that are really good. But the trick with them is that you can only have 1 of them on the field at a time. The deal why there's 2 Demi Fiends, you can't have both Demi Fiends on the field at the same time. You have to have one or the other. There is some other like tricks in the game where you can like swap them out, which is pretty neat, which I figured out, which is really cool. And you'll be able to like play 1 Demi Fiend, and if you feel like he's about to die, there's a certain type of skill that I haven't put in yet that you can just like kill that same card that you have on the field. So like, let's say this: you have Demi Fiend on the field, you attack with it, and your opponent like decides to like do something. You can use this other skill. It's a card. It's called Magic Pot in Final Fantasy, where you kill your frontliner, and then what happens is your opponent's skill fizzles. That way you can search your deck for the same name of the card and automatically summon it to the field. It's a really good skill, but you can only have 3 of them in the deck. But it's really tricky. Anyway, so Demi Fiend was the last one. I figured everybody was gonna like. Everyone was like, "Oh man, there was no Demi Fiend," so I made 2 of them just so you guys would like that. I'm probably gonna make different versions of him. But I hope you guys really liked the design that I went with this. I tried to make it kind of like a holographic look, so I tried to make it really cool looking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully the next time I upload something, it will be about, you know, that project of me coming out of my safe zone. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.